A few months ago, I flew over to Japan with two of my mates, Babsy and Amir. We all primarily flew to buy Pokemon cards, and we bought a lot. Well, technically Amir bought a lot, I bought some.
He's definitely got the biggest receipt in the shop.
I ended up spending around £10,000 on the entire trip, which is around just under 2 million Japanese yen. That included everything. I'm talking transport, flights, food, accommodation, and most importantly, Pokemon cards.
Oh my god, it is.
That was my first time in Japan, and luckily for me, I had Amir as sort of like my tour guide, right, throughout my entire trip.
Shout out to KB.
Thank you guys.
Shout out to KB. He's got a big head, but a kind heart.
Oh, that's cute.
I mean like a physically big head. Not he's big headed. It's just his head is massive.
If it wasn't for Amir, I'd be a lost duck. But of course, I know a lot of you guys don't have an Amir around you, so I'm trying to make this video to reveal to you guys the ins and outs of buying Pokemon cards in Japan. Step 1. Money. Of course, going to Japan, you're going to need money, and quite a bit of it, especially if you're going there for business purposes. If you're someone like me who grades, sells and buys Pokemon cards, depending on how much you want to make, my best advice would be to take enough cash with you to buy stock which could at least cover the trip's expense cost. For example, my flights cost me just under £2,000. That was a direct flight via British Airways from Heathrow. Both flights to Japan and from Japan were both via Heathrow. On the way to Japan, I sat via premium economy, and on the way back, I sat in regular economy just because I had extra legroom at the front, and I had literally my seat was right at the front of the plane, so it was perfect for me in economy. If comfortability is important for you and you want to be comfortable during your flight, I would highly recommend, obviously if you can afford to, get premium economy or above, just because it's a very long 13-hour flight. And as I said, if you want to be comfortable, then take my advice. Going to Japan, my personal goal was to buy enough Pokemon cards to sell and cover the trip's expenses, plus make me a decent amount of profit. I exchanged £3,500 in cash to Japanese yen in cash, which gave me approximately 680,000 yen. That was the entire stack of cash I took with me, the rest was just paid by card there. And of course, I exchanged all that cash in the UK over here just before I left. Having both cash and a card available to use in Japan is very important, as a lot of card shops only take cash. You will not be able to pay by card in some places.
Oh, cash only? Oh, God. I don't know Card Rush does cash only. Oh, bro, I don't think all of us combined. But...
And also sometimes they do give you a better deal on Pokemon cards if it is cash.
I'm going to give him the ultimatum right now. Yeah. I'll buy all of this if you lower the price of that. Buy a big one.
It is quite rare for stores in Japan to give you deals, but it does happen. We experienced it for ourselves.
I'm asking him for 60,000 off, which is about £300 off. 290. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Perfect. So that's how you get 60k off a card.
You can watch our Japan series on YouTube on both mine and Amir Collect's YouTube channels. Step 2. Travel and accommodation in Japan. One of the best ways to visit Japan for the first time is fly directly to Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. You will land at Haneda Airport, where there's taxis awaiting you right at the exit. Now, a lot of places in Japan that you will stay at will need a pre-booking, especially the nicer hotels. A lot of hotels in Japan won't let you just walk in and book a room, so make sure you pre-book beforehand. A lot of hotels in Japan will have very low star ratings, but the thing is, their star ratings in Japan are not actually the same as everywhere else in the world. You see, in Japan, they rate things like hotels very harshly, so if you see a 3-star hotel that looks really good in photos, chances are it is actually really that good.
Look at me compared to... I literally, like, if I was any bigger, I wouldn't fit.
All 3 of us stayed in 3- and 4-star hotels, and none of us had any complaints. It was literally perfect for all of us. We roughly paid £50 to £150 a night per hotel, with of course the 4-star being the most expensive. We traveled to 3 different cities to buy Pokemon cards: Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya. We traveled to each different city by bullet train, and in order to travel through bullet train, you will need to buy tickets at the train station. But if you're traveling within that city and want to use the regular train service, then you will need a card on your mobile device known as Suica. This actually comes pre-installed in all the iPhones and is basically like a ticket pass for you to travel. All you got to do to set it up, just go onto the wallet section on your iPhone, press travel card, and then type in Suica and just add the Suica card. And all you got to do is just add funds from your Apple Pay onto the card, and then you automatically have money on the card ready for travel. It literally takes seconds to set up, as I just shown you, and it's so simple. Aside from those, you can also Uber everywhere. Uber is very cheap and can be very cost effective when split up between a few people. Step 3. Searching for Pokemon cards. As I mentioned, I traveled to Tokyo, Osaka and Nagoya. Out of the 3 cities, if I had to pick one to be the best to Pokemon card shop, I would probably pick Osaka. That was a city where I found the best cards for the best prices. Nagoya comes in second, which was also very good for card shopping. And Tokyo I'd put in last place, as it was by far the worst one, but still worth visiting and going to. Now let's talk about the best Pokemon card shops in each city. The Pokemon card shops I'm about to mention were my favorites, personally. Meaning it might not be the best for you or it might not be the best for someone else, but for me personally it was the best, and these are my recommendations. In Tokyo you had trading card shop Nin in Ikebukoro. Which I ended up rinsing the hollow black and white singles from their store and a few other big bits. That was probably my favourite shop in Tokyo that I visited, just because the shop wasn't overcrowded, it was spacious, had a ton of singles that I enjoy and very good prices. The best shop in Nagoya was by far Toreka Camp. I bought so many singles in that shop for very good prices. Unfortunately, I did not record in the shop as it was quite late in the evening and I was very tired that day. I literally remember I was just like so slumped. I couldn't even be asked to look at Pokemon cards. My eyes were shutting. But I know that's not an excuse. I should have recorded, but obviously, you know, when you get burnt out, you start to feel it. So apologies for that, guys. But I'll show some clips of my friend Vivian recording the shop when he went to Japan. And as you can see, they have a ton of singles in their store. This was one of the most friendliest shops I've been in Japan. They even took us to the back room so we could look at cards, which personally made me feel very welcomed in the shop. And last of all, in Osaka, the best shop I visited personally was Top Sun Card Shop. It was in fact a new shop, so all their stock was brand new, hence why we were able to find exceptional prices on a ton of cards. Like I managed to pick up level X's in mint condition for £10 and they all graded 10s. But just be wary with a shop like this, it's cash only. Step 4. Buying the right cards. Obviously in Japan you could get very good prices for cards, but it's not always the case. A lot of cards in Japan will actually be more expensive than if you were to buy it back in the UK or back in the US. Or wherever you live in the world.
Yeah, they got some really nice cards. It's just they're very overpriced. Like Babsy was literally showing me this Ho-Oh right here, and you could get this on Card Rush for like basically half the price. 19k is what in pounds?
About 110.
It is usually the higher end and bigger cards that have these sorts of prices, whilst the majority of low end and modern are always cheaper. The number one tip I would give to anyone searching for minty cards is to always look at yellow sticker cards. These cards are deemed as damaged, but in some cases there's actually no damage on them. In Japan, if a card is not well centered, they'll chuck a yellow stick on it. If a card has some sort of little speck or a little dust or little particle or food or something, they'll chuck a yellow stick on it. So it just depends on the card and its level of damage. The yellow stickers that I took out personally were the cards where the prices were a bit higher than damaged, because more time there's just a little tiny thing wrong with it. But other than that, it could potentially be mint. I have graded 10s from yellow stickers and I know a lot of other people that have too. Step 5. Top tips and tricks. There are 4 specific words to use for when shopping for Pokemon cards in Japan. The first one being showcase, which means to pick out the cards that you want. Condition check is the second one, which means to check the conditions of the cards that you want to see. Buy, which obviously means that you want to buy the card. And last of all, cancel, which means that you just want to put the cards back that you have chosen. When asking to showcase the cards, usually it's best to pick out all the cards at once and go to a separate table to condition check them. One thing I will say though is be careful when condition checking cards, because a lot of the rooms in Japan, they have very bright lights. So when they shine on the cards, a lot of the damages, a lot of the dents, a lot of the scratches, you will not be able to properly see. So just make sure you double check the cards when condition checking them. Another important thing I would suggest is to bring your own semi-rigids, top loaders and sleeves, as a lot of those products are very overpriced in Japan and you could possibly get them a lot cheaper either in the UK or in the US. And also make sure you bring a box to store those cards inside as well when you're bringing them back to wherever you came from. And the last thing I would say is to just have fun. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But don't get too carried away in the first few shops, as you'll soon come to realize how much money you've actually spent in the first day or two, or even in a couple of hours. How many more card shops do you reckon we're going to go to today? That's it, right?
Card shops?
Card shops.
Oh, look, bro.
Really?
There's only one card.
Oh crap.
Right here.
Already spent so much.
That's what I told you.
Oh no.
You're finished, bro.
Oh no. I reckon that's about all you need to begin shopping for Pokemon cards in Japan. If you guys want me to go back to Japan and film more Pokemon card content with my friends or whoever, so I can provide information and provide good content for you guys on topics like this, then if you could support the channel by going to acegrading.com and using my code KB to grade your Pokemon cards, that would help support the channel immensely. I don't make it like a lot of money from these videos, so whichever money I make from these videos, I will put back into the business, which I have already done. So I'm hopefully going to plan another trip as soon as I make enough money to do so. And using my code KB at acegrading.com will help fund that. So I appreciate everyone using my code. And obviously, if you want to check out my eBay, link in the description below. I have a ton of singles available on there, ton of slabs for very good prices actually, so you could go shop there. A lot of the singles that I pick up from shows, a lot of the slabs that I pick up from shows, they will be on my eBay, so go check it, link in the description. And also I do post worldwide as well, so don't worry about that. Everything is tracked, everything is sent either the same or next day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, if I left anything out of the video that you feel was important for me to say, then leave it down in the comment section below. Peace. If you're looking to grade your cards, Ace Grading are fast, reliable, and deliver extremely high quality slabs. And if you want to grab yourself a bargain, use my code KB at checkout when submitting your cards. Hope you guys enjoy grading your favorite cards just like I did with mine.